her and only niece, Alexandra. We're going to try to tell you a little bit about Marc and his history.
Marc was born in Quebec February 15, 1971 and died on December 22nd, 2015 at the age of 44 in a tragic workplace accident.
He lived in the town of l'Annonciation, Quebec until the summer of 1979 when he was 8, where we moved to Lloydminster, Saskatchewan. We stayed with Auntie Julie until Mom was able to get settled in our own home. Our cousins Heather, Holly, and Roxanne were teenagers then. I can just imagine having these annoying little cousins invading their home, not being able to speak English at all. They remained some of the closest cousins we had. Summers I recall going to the Martha farm to visit Auntie Ray and Dawn. Cindy and Travis were our age and were the only ones out of 8 kids still living at home. We would play in the old elevator, garage loft, and barns, looking for kittens and eggs, as the chickens were free range, so the eggs were everywhere. Auntie had this rooster that would chase the kids on the bikes. I remember Marc riding that bike even though he was warned not to and having that rooster chase him. Once in a while, Uncle Roger and Denise would pass through Lloyd and stop in for a visit, and with them were cousins Andre and Claude, who also were close to our age, so we got to know them. 2 trips a year, we would go to Périgord to visit ma mère and Père Côté and Auntie Adelia. I can remember at ma mère's we had to go to the outside, to the outhouse to do our business. Marc and I were scared to go because the swallows had built nests along the eaves of the outhouse and they would dive bomb us when we would try to go in. At Auntie Adelia's, we learned what electric fence was all about.
When Mom asked her cousin Andre if he had a memory of Marc, his response was, "I have one. When we took my mom's car and went cruising, we had fun and burned around town. My fondest memory was at Auntie Adelia's, where we shooting rockets in the area in front of the house, and he had this really big one he built from scratch. He had a faulty engine in it, burned the rocket really bad, so he cut down the burn middle out and stuck the nose cone on the end with the fins, which made it really short. When we went to launch it, it didn't go up. It went everywhere. but up and when we all ran for cover. It was so funny, but we thought it was so cool too. It's funny because I think about it at least once every year. I shoot rockets off with my boys now, and I always think of Marc when we go out. Rockets are cool on their own, but Marc's the one that got me interested in them."
Marc went to Father Morgan Elementary School and moved into Holly Rosary High School, where he graduated in 1989. During his teen years, he was an active member of the 186 Air Cadets, where he took part in dance, sport, and drill competitions. Soon after graduation, he had 2 children, Jade and Rita Letchman, his first love, and had Jordan. Cannon was kind enough to share a memory of Marc. The day Jordan was born, Marc was supposed to stay during the cesarean, but the surgical nurse took one look at his face and said, "Get out, you're going to faint." You should have seen the look on his face when they brought me up holding his son. I will never forget the look of how much he loved him.
Right after high school, Marc started out working in the oil field until he went out with our father. He went to live with our father, Claude Allard, in Quebec, where he got his truck driving license. He worked with Dad for about a year. When he came back to Alberta, he started working in the logging industry in the Whitecourt, then moved on to the oil industry. This had him moving to Edson, where he met his wife, Elette. They married in May 2003, and soon after purchased a place in Cynthia, where they were living at the time of his departure from us last Christmas, and he worked for Rockwater Solutions.
Ever since he was young, he loved rockets, airplanes, and cars. He made model kits of them
One of the memories I have from the last time we really hung out. Sorry. It was me, Mayor Mark, Auntie, and I. We went to the air show in Whitecourt, and my uncle brought his plane. And with that, we got in free. For the rest of the day, we all matched wearing bright red shirts that said ground crew. I can remember the look on my uncle's face whenever anybody asked about his plane. He lit up with such joy and proceeded to talk about his planes, or should I say his babies. When it came time for the show to start and he heard the first plane engine fire up, the grin on his face could light up a room. I will always miss his hugs and that tickle you got from his scruff.
As a teen, summers each year, we spent pretty much all day, every day in the outdoor pool in Lloyd. We started off in a small above-ground pool by Father Gorman, and once we were old enough and Mom let us cross that highway, we were able to hit the big pool. We rode our bikes everywhere. Mark would spend hours working on his BMX bike. I can recall him taking it all apart, sanding it down, then repairing it just as he did with his models, repainting it as he did with his models.
For a while, around 1998, Mark really enjoyed quadding with the boys. He would often go with the Strathens to the grill room out by Hinton, and also went to Catamount a lot on the weekend trip. Fishing became a big part of his weekend life once he had help, and they went spent many weekends on the water just relaxing and fishing.
Mark and I had a real brother-sister relationship. When we were young, we fought with each other, and Mom was our mediator. At first it started out, I was the strongest one, but soon when Mark was around 15, he became stronger, and I was the one who would run when we fought. Usually at this point, I can recall a time when I locked him out of the house just to get away from him in the winter, and if memory serves me right, he broke the window to get back in. There were many days after school, one of us would call Mom at work because we were fighting again, and one would get on the kitchen phone, the other one on the bedroom phone, and we would start arguing, and Mom would hang up on us. In high school, we were both ended up in the same grade. Each time one of us got ill, Mom would send a note with the others. Well, that was fine until I decided I wanted to hang out with them all with my friends. Yes, skipping. But those days, my Mom didn't send a note, so when the teachers asked Mark where I was, he told the truth and got me in trouble. Robert and Paul Beaker was Mark's best bud, and they were always together. It was like having two brothers back then. I wasn't the only one getting in trouble. Mom can remember a time when Beaker and with his car wanted to pick Mark up to go out for the night. Mark was grounded and persisted on telling Mom that he was going anyways. Mom's reply was, I wouldn't. And he did. All Mom did the next morning when Mark woke up was sit on the couch as she had all her chores done and just ignored him and gave him the silent treatment. Through conversations with Mom not that long ago, Mark admitted that he would have preferred that Mom give him heck, as silent treatment was the worst. Most of my memories I have from Mark are from our childhood. As we grew into adults, we had our own lives and we only got together on holidays. It was a tradition that Mark would come over and have a meal at our house. After the meal, then he would sit on the couch where he and Don persisted to have a meal where he and Don would have a nap.
Mark will always be remembered by the ones who have been touched by his kindness. My mother, Rosalie, my mom, Renee, and his wife, Ellen, will forever miss his presence. Mark's children, Jane and Jordan, did not have a chance to get to know him, but I know that when they meet again in heaven, they will get Marc was raised in the Roman Catholic faith, and Mayor has asked if we could please all pray, say our Father together for him.
Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Amen. Thank you for coming and sharing your time and memories of my little brother Marc with us in his final farewell. We're going to pass this over to the gentleman who has this beautiful plate that he built for us, I guess. Yeah?
Not too much to say. We'll just get going with the plane flight. But I did have one verse